Just tell me when you're ready.
All right. I'm rolling. Your mics have been hot all this time.
Okay.
Yeah, we good.
Welcome to the PowerUP Mancave. I'm Keith Withrow.
I'm Gary Rambo.
Yep, and we're right back at you with some more exciting content. And we tried to warn you, this is a good one right here, man. What do you need to be doing to be prepared in the case of the what ifs? Everybody's probably seen on social media. You might have seen it on the news. There's a lot of things going on. Whether you're aware of all the real sensitive items or not, whether you're spiritual or you're not, you gotta know that there's a lot going on. Mass murders, shootings every week, mass killings. And before we get going too far and getting too deep into this, I want to first say, remember to like, subscribe, and hit your notification bell, and give us some content, give us some remarks. Come back at us with what you think about what we're talking about. We talked about betrayal, and we also talked about the mind as a battlefield in our last 2 episodes. So come back at us and give us some remarks as it relates to this. First of all, I want to say this. Very untimely death. I want to dedicate this episode to my man, Corey Gray. You guys may have seen there was a triple homicide about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
This is a gentleman that I knew. We grew up together, and he went in the Air Force. I gave him some pointers on being in the Air Force. You might have seen the triple homicide where his son actually murdered him, that was his dad and his mom. So I want to say, in all of the things that we see, I actually went to this funeral, and it was very, very sad to go to a mother, a father, and an 18-year-old daughter who was murdered by their own sibling and their own son. This is some of the stuff that we're talking about. These times are becoming very trying, and every week there's more and more, seems like, what to be evil going on. Now there's a lot more going on as it relates to just the world and all of the evil things that's going on. I mean, you got to know about, contaminated water source. You got to know about like the heads of cattle that's coming up dead, and all of the fires with the food sources and all of the things that's going on in the world, man. But I just got to say that Gary and I are preppers. We do prep, right?
Right.
We believe in having some food sources and having some water and some survival things in case of a mass power outage, a prolonged outage. These are all the things that specialists and people are talking about that may come to pass. Now, we're not even gonna get into the part about what's in Revelation. Some of this stuff is unfolding like right before our eyes. If you know anything about it, do your research, go in the Bible, do your research for yourself on when it comes to all that. But I'm just telling you, a lot of things is listed are actually unfolding right before our eyes. But in all of that, I just want to say, we're actually, like, again, I say we're preppers. We believe in having some food sources and things available in the case of an emergency or in the case of a collapse in society. Some banking issues and stuff even.
Yeah, what's interesting is that for me as a father, as a husband, one of my worst nightmares is that for my wife, and my daughter to come to me and say, we have nothing to eat.
That's right.
And we don't have any, no water to drink.
That's right.
And all that. And so I'm gonna feel that right there it feels like a nightmare scenario.
That's right.
To be in a situation where I'm just, I haven't prepared, I haven't, gotten ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am gonna say this in this video. Heads of, not just men, but heads of household, ladies who are in charge of your families and you watching over your children. Everybody, I would say, just look for get you some rations, have you some food sources, some canned goods, and have some stuff put away in case of a power outage that's prolonged. I mean, it can even happen in bad weather. There's some weather system changes. As you can see, the climate is changing. There's snow happening in areas. There's going to be natural disasters as we've always had, but they're going to continue to get worse and more prolonged. So at least have you some medical first aid kits, extended life candles, flashlights, batteries. Take some effort in being prepared. I'm just saying that's just out of being just being a responsible head of household.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Now the thing is, we're not saying you got to go dig yourself a bunker or anything like that.
Right.
But you should do just like Keith's saying, is to be prepared. You should have, have you some rations, water, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You should do, be prepared if there's a power outage.
Just,
be prepared, do some things, because that's the thing. When something were to happen, then in that case, it's too late at that point.
That's right. So, let's get to where the rubber meets the road on this deal.
I got you.
I was away last weekend, and we went up to the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, and played some golf up in Cherokee, North Carolina. And we were, Dr. Verdun, that's actually part of a round table, and his wife and a couple other friends were having this discussion. And we were just talking about all the things that's going on in the world and in the United States. We're at the brink of having some sort of a conflict with China and maybe even Russia and China. But anyway, we were talking about if we should have a war, or if we should have a prolonged power outage, or if we should have some sort of a collapse in society as we know it. And one person said something that really resonated with me, and that was, ultimately, in all of this, like, even if that happens or if it doesn't, if it happens sooner than later or later than sooner, right? Ultimately, the one thing that's absolutely guaranteed is that we're going to leave this life.
Yeah, we are going to check out of here.
We're going to check out.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's due to a doomsday event or just through natural occurrences and you pass away for natural causes from old age and your grandchildren are around the bed and you've got yourself right and you leave here, ultimately, you are going to transition from this world. Now, I don't want this video to seem like gloom and doom, but it's a reality. It is, death is a part of the life cycle. But the one thing I want to say about prepping, you can have everything in place. You can be the ultimate prepper. You can have a bug out location. You can have all the ammo, all the food. You can have the garden. You can have livestock, grow your own food and everything. But ultimately, even in all of that, you're going to die.
Right.
So guess what you have to have in that? You have to have the Lord. You have to have your soul prepared for transition.
Soul preparation. That's what
soul preparation is more important than any food source, water source, bug out location, ammo to defend your family, generators. All of that's fine and well. But guess what? Even if you survive, even if you can go off the grid and live and nobody will find you, and you can grow your own food and you got your own chickens and you're living a long time and you don't get involved in what happens, you still are going to leave here. And what is what? What is the good for man to gain what?
All the world, gain the world but lose his soul.
And lose his soul. Yep. So guess what? We're here today to say this to you all. No matter what happens, and this is for me as well. Take some time and even move further and closer and more aggressive in your walk with the Lord.
That's right.
I'm talking about the Lord.
Imagine this. What if you passed on, or me, or anybody? You pass on, you get in front of them pearly gates.
Right.
And the Lord started asking you, what did you do with the life that I gave you?
Right.
Come on now.
What you gonna say to that?
You gotta sit there in front of the creator of the universe.
That's right.
And sit there and answer a question like that, and you say if you wasted your life, you didn't give him the time that you should have, You know, that's a scary thought.
Look, man, you're talking to a guy who's been called a high achiever. You know, both of us strive in the things that we do to be as great as we can be. That is in our careers, our businesses, in our family life, being a husband, being a father, all of these things. Not perfect. We're trying to get better as we go.
Right.
We stumble and we learn along the way. However, what we have to do, and this is serious business, we have to get in a better place with the Lord. That way, when we pass on, when we leave this place, if you get taken out when something first happens, or if you're in a car accident or it's just natural causes, as I said earlier, you can go be with the Lord where you need to be. So I was, I try my best to be prepared. If something were to happen, I'm pretty prepared to take on a lot of the stuff that could happen. I mean, not totally, but I try to do my best to put together food and water and the things that we need. However, in doing all of that, I was having another conversation with somebody, and the Spirit spoke to me and said, hey, you need to be closer to me. Seek my face. Yes, prepare. Yes. But you need to seek his face first. Everything else will fall into place.
It's kind of getting into something else here, but in the midst of being close to the Lord,
right?
Think about it. You're in a scenario, society's falling apart, everything's going crazy.
Right.
In that situation, what better resource did you have rather than knowing what to do?
That's right.
When nobody else knows what to do.
Exactly. So guess what? Even in the prepping, even in the surviving, if it is successful, you're going to need him anyway. You still need him in the scenario.
That's right.
You still need to give you guidance, give you covering, to give you what? Give you grace and mercy.
That's right.
Maybe those marauders won't come to your particular location.
Right. Right.
If you guys know what marauders are, people going from house to house in groups, to take what you have. That happens in the breakdown of society. But guess what? You're going to need him anyway. So guess what? It's not a waste, because whether we have a life-changing or society change or breakdown, still doesn't matter. It's what we've always said in all our videos. You have to have a relationship with the Lord. Now, right before this video, we always pray before we get started. And we had a prolonged, more intense prayer today. And I'm going to tell you something. In the midst of that, the Lord said, hey, you know what? This is what I need for you guys to do once a week. You guys need to get on the phone, call each other, and do this once a week. Guess what? All that's saying is we're coming into a time where I really truly believe to where we're going to be in a more, we need to be in a more engaged in a more intense prayer, and more intense worship, a more intense walk, because we're going to need it. Because I really do believe, as we already can see, without even talking about any extra, everyone can see how many shootings we're having, how many mass murders we're having, all the things that are extreme that's happening. So anybody can be able to see that. That's just the facts. The facts are that we're living in a more critical and a more violent world.
I heard a minister say recently that the Lord said that your lukewarm prayers are not good enough for the level of demonic activity that are going on in these days.
I'm in agreement with that 100%.
100%.
I'm in agreement with that. So if you get anything from any of our videos, as I say, this is where the rubber meets the road. Get in a closer and a better position with the Lord through more prayer, more studying, more quiet time, more fasting.
Yeah.
More coming together in groups, coming together in prayer, 3, 4, 5. Call even if you can't touch one another, where you can touch and agree. You can still touch and agree by, guess what? Phone calls.
That's right.
Zoom calls. Use your media. Use the same things that promote the negative to promote the good, right? So come together with your families. Work together. Don't be so petty. We're gonna need each other, okay? So all we're saying is take it to the next level. Push it a little further. I'm speaking to myself in this as well.
Me too.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
get this from us. We're short and sweet today. Get in a better place with the Lord so that when it's your time to leave, you have no question about you going into paradise and you going somewhere where you can be with the Lord. Don't risk it. Don't take that risk. Because I tell you one thing, if we're wrong, what did you lose?
That's right.
But if we're right, there's a lot to lose. So with that being said, we're done with it, man. Remember, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Give us some comments, man. Again, we said 2023, we're coming a little bit harder with this, and here we come. Hey, man, with that being said,
That's right.
Power up, baby.
Power up.
Power up. We'll see you the next time, and we love you. Get on that prayer thing, man. Power up with the Lord.
That's right.
We're out of here.
That's right.
You get to see them triceps, feel all good about yourself, and then you come to Power Up, man, and you see Ram and Keith, and it's like, dang, I ain't get that far. I ain't get that far. Your arms really aren't that big, buddy.